Welcome to Overcrest. I'm Kris.
And I'm Jake.
Got a fun episode for you guys today.
What do we have?
I was looking at the description of, usually I write a description, and it's the
Right.
same description as last week. Voicemails, news, and a bit of ranting
Well,
here,
that's
here
because
and
you
there.
just didn't remove that.
Yeah, I know,
That
but
is
it's
from
the,
last week. But it is
the same.
still accurate. Correct.
It is
yes.
still exactly
still
the
applies.
same. I do have an update for you on the house stuff.
Oh, good. I had a lot of people messaging me being concerned for you.
They're concerned. My house is still there.
Okay, good.
It's still there.
Did you fix anything?
I have fixed nothing. I did order some stuff on Amazon to fix it. I bought
Why
you...
not just go to the hardware store?
Because it was like late, and it's 25 minutes away. It's 30 minutes away. I don't live in suburban hell like you do.
I know, but like
where everything you can just buy it.
You leave the house every once in a while.
Yeah, to come here.
That's it.
That's pretty much it.
Okay.
Otherwise, I'm just pretty much at home. Yeah, so the house didn't burn down, so that's good. I brought you a gift that I left at home.
Nice.
So you're going to have to imagine this.
Okay.
I bought you a ground tester.
Okay.
From Klein Tools. It's a really nice ground tester. You plug it into the outlet, and it tells you if you have a ground or not. I thought that would be something that would that would put your mind at ease.
I love it. I love this.
So it's at my house though. So I tested it on a few things. Some things in my house have a ground. Some
things don't.
Some things don't.
Oh, good.
And lo and behold, the house is still there, and it has not spontaneously combusted.
It will just be really, really bad if your house does burn down, and then everything is on record of you being like, "It's fine. It's totally fine."
Yeah, absolutely. There's no question about that. So I did some work in the garage.
Okay.
First of all, I spent a lot of time cleaning the garage, which is, I always would walk out there. Last time I was out there, what did I do? I turned the heat off and walked away. You remember?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Because the compression test came back bad.
Oh, yeah.
And then I found out that I still owed $10,000 on the 911. So I just was like, light off, heat off, shit can the whole program, don't care. And I was sitting there the other day, and I was working on Overcrest stuff, and I finished, and I was like, okay, what am I going to do now?
Nap time or clean the garage.
There's no such thing as nap time. Nap time is a waste of time. If you need to take naps,
yes,
you're either ill or you're boring.
What if you
those are the two things.
Have a schedule that makes you get up really early or something and you don't get enough sleep.
Like something to go to brunch or something?
No, that's the whole point of brunch, Kris. I see you have it listed here.
I do.
Do you want to talk about it?
I do want to talk about brunch. Brunch is it is stupid. It's basically breakfast for people that have the luxury of sleeping in on a Sunday morning, but don't want anybody to know that they're just lazy. So they call it brunch. It's like its own little club. It's the brunch is the P car of breakfast.
Yeah, you did send that to me, and I was like, that's probably appropriate. No, brunch. Okay.
It's an elitist thing.
What if I just said
anybody working retail or anything like that doesn't get to go to brunch?
Well, do you know that like service weekend is a thing, right? Service People's Weekend. You've never heard of this?
What is that?
If you work at a bar or you're in service or anything like that, you usually will work the weekend because that's the busy part, and then usually you'll get like Monday, Tuesday off as a service weekend.
Yeah, that way you don't actually get to hang out on the weekend with all the people that drive their P car to brunch. You don't have to associate with that. That's great for you, Jake.
Yeah,
because then you don't have to intermingle with those people.
Plebeians,
those people.
They need to serve me.
Exactly.
Yes.
Brunch is stupid. Just call it
what
breakfast.
If I just called it breakfast?
Perfect. That's it. That's all you got to do. It's breakfast.
Okay. It's brunch is Sunday, and it's later than usually what you'd consider breakfast because what do? You sleep on Sunday. It's great.
What time do you have brunch?
Brunch is generally 10 to noon.
Okay. So once it becomes noon, it is lunch, and you're having breakfast for lunch.
Okay.
So it is lunch. Brunch is just a word that you use to be funny and coy with your other brunch eating brethren. That's all it is.
Brunch brothers.
Yeah, brunch brethren, because it's like some sort of cult or weird thing. It's just breakfast.
And a lot of times, you have a mimosa or a Bloody Mary.
It's fine.
Is that still breakfast?
Sure, why not?
Okay.
I don't care.
Clearly, you do not.
No, well, clearly I don't. But what is the point of calling it brunch?
It's very specific, and usually the places you go to...
It's very inspecific. That's the point.
Here's the thing. Usually the places you go to get brunch will specifically have a brunch menu, right? So it's specified.
Oh, so
it's
you
not
have
a breakfast menu. It's a brunch menu.
You are so
usually
special.
Only on Sundays.
You're so special.
From like 10 to 1.
You're so special that you get your own little menu.
Yeah.
Yeah, full of breakfast items.
Right, and alcohol.
That's the key, isn't it?
Yes.
The alcohol.
Yes.
It makes you feel better about being drunk because it's a special thing.
Yeah, it's great.
Exactly. Brunch is stupid.
I will always enjoy brunch and not even ashamed of it.
Did you see the pictures I posted of the... How come you've never invited me to brunch?
Do you want to come to brunch this weekend?
No, I don't. I will not go to brunch.
That's why.
That is stupid. It's just dumb. It's just dumb.
Careful, you might enjoy it.
We got to be careful about that.
Can't have Kris enjoy anything.
No, I got to be
terrible.
Got to be grumpy about it. I don't drink.
I know.
So it's like the idea of coming up with an event that makes it okay for me to drink in the morning.
You were born in Wisconsin. This should not be a foreign concept to you.
Most people in Wisconsin don't need an excuse to drink before lunch.
But every event in Wisconsin centers around drinking.
Yeah,
so
but they don't need
it's
brunch.
Not a foreign concept.
They don't need brunch. Wisconsinites don't need brunch to drink before noon. They just do it.
Right.
They don't need an excuse.
Brunch of beers then.
So I took the head off the 911 on my mind, obviously. I took the head off the Mercedes.
Yeah, fully. The bottom half of the head.
bottom half of the head to find out what was going on. But first, I cleaned the whole garage. It took me like all day. It was brutal.
That's awesome. Good for morale, as we would say.
Good for morale. Garage is clean. It has the worst condition in terms of just regular wear and tear cylinders of anything I've ever owned.
The Mercedes. So once you took the head off, you were just like,
there's
that's
evidence
clearly the problem.
There's evidence of broken ring. There's evidence of piston slap. There's evidence of this thing. I think it has, I'm looking at the mileage on there and it says 78,000 miles on the odometer.
So it's like 378,000.
I think it's probably 378,000 miles. But here's the deal. I found an engine.
Mm-hmm.
It has 47,000 miles on it. And it has 100.
Or it could be 347,000.
No, it's got or it could have 147,000 miles. I don't know. But the compression came back at 150 PSI per cylinder.
Across the board?
Across the board. And it has a warranty.
Oh. What kind of warranty is this?
Like 6 months.
Okay.
Just to make sure you're not putting it in and it explodes.
Right.
So
that's awesome.
I can put it in. I can do my own compression test. And if it doesn't meet, they can take it back. Or
where is this coming from?
Arizona. So it's coming from a dry climate.
That's good. Yeah.
They took pictures of it for me before I got it. It's super clean. It was covered in dust. Right?
So that they didn't just pressure wash it, right?
So they did pressure wash it for another set of photos.
Okay.
That they sent me, but I did see it before it was pressure washed,
and it was still clean,
unless it was
not
pressure washed
oily.
10 years ago when it was put
and then
there.
It was sat there.
So the story of the car was the car had been impounded.
Okay.
And basically goes to the junkyard to get impounded. It's a lot of places, like a towing place also has a junkyard, vice versa, and they have an impound lot.
Yeah.
And then if it sits at the impound lot long enough, it gets bonded.
Right.
Do you know what bonded is?
I do. It's where basically you don't own it anymore. The shop owns it, and you have to pay the shop in order to take possession back of it.
Yes, but for it to be retitled in their name, it has to get put up like by the sheriff. It has to be put in the public record that someone is taking over ownership of it. It's going to be getting a new title.
Right, and then you can contest that.
You can contest it or whatever. So this car got bonded, and then nobody came and got it. So then I don't even know what. So apparently it probably wasn't in an accident or anything.
Yeah, I suppose not.
Just something that just got impounded. It was towed or whatever.
What specific vehicle, chassis, etc.?
From a 1975 280.
Okay.
Which is basically, I think it's going to look a lot like, honestly, I don't know. I don't know when they stopped making my car. I thought they stopped making my car in 73, but it says this is a 75, so I don't know if that's like it came out of an S-Class. I'm not sure.
Whatever.
So anyway, so that motor's coming, and I got really excited when I found a video. I sent you the video. I got really excited because nobody does anything with these engines, these cars, nothing. Yeah. So some dude in Timbuktu, Netherlands, or whatever, built a W123, which is the successor to my car, the W114.
Yep.
It's a slightly bigger car. It's a heavier car.
Oh, okay.
But it did come with this engine.
Yep.
This guy put the cams that I've got in the car.
The rally cams.
Yep. It's like a 270, 300 cam.
Yes.
So that's the duration or whatever.
Which I realized why I was so confused with your camshaft regrinding description.
Yeah.
From several weeks back.
Yes.
It's not just the lobe that gets reground. It's the entire circumference is smaller.
Yes.
That you failed to explain that, and my logic didn't keep up.
I'm sorry I wasn't able to
everything's
talk down
smaller.
to your brain.
Yes, it makes sense.
All right. So anyway, so I saw this video. I finally like, oh, I get to see it. So in the description, it's like stock exhaust, which is mine, which is how many inches is 40 millimeters? Let me look it up.
Well, 60 is 2.5.
40 millimeters in inches, 1.5 inches. Okay, so it's 2 manifolds, and then it's dual out all the way back.
Exhaust.
No, it's 2 of them.
Oh, okay.
So it's essentially equivalent to a 3-inch exhaust.
Yeah.
Plenty of, it can breathe. Right?
Yeah.
It can breathe.
Sure.
So and this is the same manifolds that AMG used. As time went on, they changed the manifolds out to a single design that sucks.
Interesting.
Anyway, so I've got these same manifolds AMG uses.
Yep.
This guy put the cams in, which are similar to AMG rally cams or the Mercedes cams that they would have put in the rally cars, things like this. And he had a standard intake manifold with CIS.
Oh, wow. Okay.
What did you think of that thing? It moved.
Yeah.
It freaking moved. Yeah. Unlike the car before having no compression.
Correct. Yes.
So I'm really excited to put the cams in, have the carburetors on there. And I'm like...
So you don't think the car ever had full power?
Not a chance. Not by looking at those cylinder walls.
Yeah.
They had like dark spots all over them where the piston had been slapping around. A long time.
Got it.
Remember, this thing was owned by Ed.
Yeah, I remember Ed's
Benz. This is Ed's Benz. It's the rusty thing that he drove every day for like 40 years.
Yep.
And it looked like it, and it drove like it. Okay. So it always ran. It always started right up, which I guess is like a testament to Mercedes or whatever.
Sure.
But the thing always just kind of worked.
So the motor is in transit?
In transit, apparently. It's in, like, the tracking numbers for freight are weird. Mm-hmm. You put the tracking number in, it says, the whole thing was created by Betty. So Betty created
Betty got the ticket going.
Got the ticket going. And now it says Phoenix in dock at Phoenix.
Okay,
so it's just waiting.
Sitting at the dock.
It's waiting for someone to just be like, hey, I'm going that way.
Right.
Whatever freight, like the guy will drop it off on his way to wherever.
Yeah, there's a whole market for like, they call it less than truckload freight. It's very fascinating.
The whole trucking thing is a little weird. Have you ever put a quote in for having your car shipped?
Oh yeah.
And it's
several
like
times.
And it's like a million phone calls from a million different dudes.
It's very antiquated to me, it seems. Like it should just all be a single online repository marketplace and it's just supply demand.
It kind of is.
Yeah, but it's still not organized that well. Like, why are you getting phone calls instead of just like, boop, there's one central place?
I think there's both. I think like if you work at a dealership and you're trying to get cars picked up from around the nation,
you probably have a more streamlined.
But this is like, I've had, like when I put my boat up, it was just a dude with a truck came and picked up my boat trailer and delivered it down to the guy who bought it in Georgia. That was it. So that dude's not on some like conglomerate.
No, I know.
Thing.
But yeah, it is weird trucking, that whole
So that motor will be coming. I thought I might order valve springs.
Okay.
Because we're going to take the cams out again anyway.
Right.
So I thought maybe I would put the heavy duty valve springs in there, which would allow me to rev it up to like 7,000, 7,200, which I think the thing's going to make some power. I'm really excited. But from the video I saw, based on what I drove, even before I put the Webers on, just as a stock motor, I was like, ooh, when I drove it as Ed's Benz.
Yeah, I remember driving.
I remember being like, well,
that's not very exciting.
I'm like, well, it's the 60s, things,
Taking
But then if you look at the numbers, it should have somewhere, depending on what motor it is, 150 to 180 horsepower.
Yeah,
and it's a 2,500 pound car.
It shouldn't be that slow.
No, it should be
pretty quick.
Should feel good.
Yeah.
Anyway, so what are you working on? Anything?
Yeah. What was I going to ask you though? I had a question about that still. Oh, transmission. What have you decided to do there? Just bolt it up to what we got and
right now
the rear
I'm just going to bolt it up to what I've got.
Okay.
Because I can't afford to.
What about the rear end? Did you already do that?
I have not done that yet. I'm going to leave it now.
Okay.
And put the new motor in and see what it's like.
Oh, you're saying you might want taller gearing.
Yeah, maybe if it makes enough power, that gearing is going to be fine. So I'm going to leave it there for now. I'm going to put the motor in.
You already bought the rear end though, right?
Yeah, but it needs to be rebuilt and done. Okay. So I'm not going to do all the work on that if I don't need to.
Gotcha. Interesting.
Well, I just don't want to do extra work. I'm going to do one thing at a time. I went on like here's a side tangent. Okay. I was doing the live stream of working on the car yesterday, and a bunch of people were being like, tell me all the things you're going to do to this car. Tell me all the things you're going to do. And it's very easy to go on the internet and go, wow, what's the formula for making this car fast or this car good or whatever.
But that doesn't exist for this.
It doesn't exist for this. But also it's a bad idea, even if it does exist, because you don't have... Think about when you diagnose a carburetor, okay? And it's not doing what you want it to do.
Right.
Do you pull the whole carburetor apart and put everything back together with new parts?
Not usually the first
What do you
step.
usually do? You do one change at a time.
Sure.
And see if it solves the problem that you were having.
Should do, yes.
Should. And the whole chassis of the car, really, to me, is not that much different. You do one thing at a time.
Sure, yeah.
Like, dudes do this all the time. You can tell by looking on Instagram or Pelican Parts or Renlist or whatever.
Everything under the car.
They just go, I want to buy everything. And then they buy every single thing that Elephant Racing and is available for Pelican Parts, and they slap it on the car, and they're like, this thing's great. In reality, the car fucking sucks because there's way too much done, and it's so far removed, and nothing works in harmony with anything else because they just rolled the car through the parts catalog. And one of the reasons why, and this, I think I talked about this with Drew a little bit, is a lot of people will drive my 911 and they go, wow.
It seems greater than the sum of its parts.
It does. They go, wow, what have you done? What is the formula here? This is one of the greatest driving early 911s I've ever driven.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is there's a lot of different things done, but each thing was an incremental process of, wow, I have a little too much bump steer.
Okay.
I'm going to add a bump steer kit.
Yep.
One thing, I raised the steering rack. That was the first thing I did.
Yep.
Next thing, what do you do? Okay, it still has too much bump steer. Turbo tie rods. Still has too much bump steer because it's too low.
Yeah.
RSR spindles.
Yep.
Put those on there. Okay, bump steer's gone. So I'm able to figure out what the car needs one thing at a time
rather than
versus
just buying it and
throwing parts at the thing.
Things,
and then you don't really know, you didn't go on a journey with the car to cater it to your own personal taste of how you want it to drive anyway. And that's
you also don't know what each thing did or does. You know what I mean? Because it's also a learning experience.
Totally.
Right? You know exactly what bump steer feels like and what that fixed it or didn't fix it. Whereas if you just do all new suspension, everything from coilovers all the way down.
Right.
You don't know exactly what each component is really doing.
And I guarantee, and I was watching some of the Formula One testing stuff, and these guys go out there and they've got these arrow things that sit on the back of the tires.
What the hell are those?
It's to measure the airflow. It's got
they're great.
It's got a bunch of sensors on it to measure airflow. But they'll do that, and they're not, when they do that and they're going to change something, they change the arrow. They don't also change the arrow, lower the car, adjust the camber, do all these different things. It's kind of like,
well, maybe if they did, it wouldn't bounce so much.
So what have you been doing on your car?
So I got
moral of the story?
Yes.
One thing at a time.
Okay.
Just it takes longer, but it's cheaper.
When are we getting this motor?
I don't know. I don't know how long this takes. Probably within a couple weeks, I would think.
Okay, so you're going to clean it up, do cams, maybe some seals on shit. And
yeah, I might take the valve springs out, do the valve springs.
Okay.
And I might do valve stem seals.
Sure.
Because it's been sitting around forever.
Can you do that without pulling the head off?
Yes. Yeah, you just take
do
the
everything
cams
on
out.
the top.
Yep, you just do everything
that makes
right
sense.
there. And maybe I'll probably clean the block up. Maybe you know what I really like is when you have an old car, I want to be able to pop the hood on that.
Yep.
And it just be like, and it's just the engine.
Right.
But just the engine.
I know what you're talking about.
It's like if you were to go to the dump and find a jewelry box, but then go to the store and buy a really nice ring and put it in the jewelry box, and you would open up and you have this super decrepit jewelry box, but there's this amazing little jewel of a thing in there.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'd like to do is
so everything's gonna be really clean and nice.
So it's not, this isn't an overnight thing. I'm going to take the pulleys off. I'm going to have.
So I was going to ask, does this new motor come with all the ancillaries? Do we have a water pump on it, alternator, anything else? Or do we have to move everything over?
It's got a fuel system on it. I know I replaced all that stuff, and everything that's on there is going to be old. So I have a new water pump. I have a new
but
fuel
you have
pump.
to take it off the existing motor and put it on
and move it over, and I'll do that.
So,
but I'm
make
going to
sure you order gaskets for that.
Absolutely. Or you can make your own gaskets too, which I've done. Is you just put the thing on the.
Yeah, but gaskets are like 50 cents, and that's tedious.
Yeah, but also it's 50 cents plus $8 in shipping. And sometimes you forget a gasket because you're ordering so many different things that you can just put the part on there, and you can go to AutoZone and you can buy gasket material, and you can make a gasket that's every bit as good as what you order.
Carburetors and everything else.
The only thing that sucks when making gaskets is cutting the bolt holes out.
Yeah.
You ever notice that?
You use shell casings.
Shell casings, or like if you're making leather parts.
Yeah.
So like if you're making anything that needs a hole through it, like a leather punch.
Yep.
You can use those. That
two.
works out really good for doing that. Anyway, what are you up to? What are you doing? I saw you keep posting pictures of your turbo, but it's never installed.
And it's really nice.
Great. Then that's it?
That's it. No, I'm waiting to put it on because I need a couple more seals. I got the oil pan back together on that. We got, some other stuff done there. I almost done finishing up the firewall. I just hadn't worked on it in a long time.
Okay.
And the problem is it's a very convex, like two different dimensions of what I'd call like a corner. You know what I mean? It's not just a simple curved piece. There's
It's got multiple curves. Like a decreasing or radius type of situation.
Yeah, and so like I basically need like a metal shrinker, and I need to get a hammer and a beanbag to get it like the perfect shape.
Yeah.
But instead of doing any of that, I just kind of got it roughed in, and I started at 1/4 and just start stitching it and just banging it into place as I'm stitching it.
I did that on the 911 sometimes too. That's common.
I mean, I was going to ask if that's...
No, yeah, I think that's acceptable, especially when parts that you order from Restoration Design
don't actually fit,
even though they cost $1 million fucking dollars. You think that the parts you order from them would fit? They don't.
Yeah,
mind blowing to me. So there's a lot of times where I had to like tack weld something on and then hammer it.
Yeah.
And like
so there's a lot of tweaking going on.
That's normal. That's great.
I only started one fire on the interior.
Good. Normally you would take the carpet out if you're going to be...
All the carpet is out. The problem is it is so tucked in there, and there's this weird, stupid foam that I cut all the way around.
Or whatever.
Yeah, and I gave myself a big margin.
Here's a question.
But it still started.
We've been talking about this car for like a year and a half.
Yep.
And initially the plan was to just get rid of the car. You were just going to fix it up. You're going to get rid of the car. First of all, you're going to take it to Ruchellos Rally.
Yeah.
And that didn't work out, and I think it bummed you out a lot.
Yeah.
And you were like, I'm done. I'm going to get this motor. I'm going to put it in there, and we're down the road.
Yeah.
The other day, you told me, I really like this car. I really liked it. But, however,
okay,
you've never driven the damn thing. What are you doing?
Do you want to know the real reason?
For what?
For this?
For what?
For like actually spending money and doing all these upgrades and stuff?
Because you're a 1%er and you can?
Well, yes, but the real reason is Colin, our friend. Because he's the one who comes over and helps me with it. And he's you really, since the turbo should probably get a rebuild, which maybe it didn't need, you should just do the hybrid that this guy does and make it bigger and better and do that.
This is the danger of having an engineer come over to your house.
100%. Yes. So everything is going to be brand sparkling new on this thing.
So you're thinking that you might like it.
I hope maybe I will like it.
It's going to be a lot faster than your 911.
Oh, it is going to be real fast.
It's going to be a lot faster. So I was watching...
This turbo will support 370 wheel.
Yeah, but... Oh, Jay, that's a lot of power.
And it weighs, what, 22?
I'm not sure. I have no idea.
100 pounds?
Tell me about the Drivers Club.
Well, if you head over to overcrestproductions.com/drivers club, you can support the show for as little as $5 a month. You get access to exclusive content. I have a new Overcrest short brewing right now.
Ooh.
With a really cool racing series from the 60s that I found, and it's awesome. So if you like a lot of these deep dives in history or maybe interviews, a lot of times we have things that we don't put on the show, and we put them out there just exclusively for Drivers Club members, exclusive episodes, extended, director's cut of a lot of the interviews. You can get access early to merch or discounts or early access to rally applications. It's all really good stuff. And what else do you get? You get access to, you can watch the show right now live as we're recording and chat with us.
I definitely forgot to
do that.
To do that.
Okay,
sorry about that.
Most times.
Most times.
Yeah, and for as little $5 a month, you get to support the creators that you actually like. We hopefully give you more energy than a Red Bull, and that costs about the same.
All right, so I wanted to recognize some of our new guys.
Okay.
We have Kashi Dion Lee, team principal level. That's fucking awesome. Thank you so much for that support. We have Atlas, Ben Milano, Charlie Marcus, Amare Ruiz, Kyle Statzman, Eric Stevens, Ben Chester are the our newest Drivers Club members. You guys, thank you for supporting the show. I can't. There's no like words beyond thank you that I can do. I love you. Maybe I love you. I love you.
Yeah.
Close your eyes as you're driving your car. If you're a Drivers Club member only, this is only for you. Everybody else,
tune out.
Turn the volume down. I love you. There you go. That's how much I love you guys, and it is super creepy. Yep. But I do really appreciate it, and the rest of you,
we appreciate it.
Your cheapskates because it costs $5.
Yes,
it's almost nothing to support the show and keep the lights on over here. It'd be great. And still to this day, we've been pouring all the money back into the show, back into the rally.
Yeah, we don't take payouts. We don't get paid for this.
All right, Jake.
Do you want to talk about news?
I do. What have you got for me?
Well, it's hard to believe. So the 992 generation is the current 911 generation.
Yep.
And apparently we're already coming to the end of that model run because they save the GT2 RS
for the end.
For the end.
Yeah.
Well, There's a new GT2 RS coming out.
Great.
Yeah, Porsche will be saving the best for last by crowning the 992 generation 911 with another GT2 RS. These people from Zuffenhausen have long confirmed a hybrid version, and Autocar reports that the flagship version will be electrified to create the most powerful version in the sports car's illustrious history. It's allegedly arriving in 2026. So we have a little bit of time here. And that'll be over a half century since the original rear-engine machine debuted.
Stop right there, criminal scum. Nobody breaks the law on my watch.
I remember.
What?
I had to go back and look.
Oh, okay.
In 2020, this is a quote from Oliver Bloom.
Okay.
CEO, Porsche. Yes. Around 50% of all Porsche vehicles could be sold with an electric or hybrid drive by 2025. However, Porsche will always offer combustion engines, particularly in the 911, but we can't stop the onward march of electromobility.
Right. So they're still offering combustion engine, Chris.
I just want to police this a little bit.
I know. This still fits within what he said.
Yes, he was vague enough. I predict there is no way that Porsche keeps the 911 as just as a hybrid.
They won't be able to sell it in 2035.
Well, I think maybe hybrids do hybrids?
I don't think you can have a gasoline.
We're gonna have to look that up. I need to know if hybrids fall under that.
No, I don't think so. It's electric only, Chris.
Well, they'll be able to blame that then. This marketing ploy in 2020 where Oliver is talking about, we'll never do that.
Do you want to learn more? Based on the 911 Turbo with its flat 3.8-liter twin-turbo engine, the GT2 RS is set to adopt a mild hybrid powertrain with technology derived from the new 963 LMDH Endurance race car. It'll trickle down the range closer to the end of the decade with an electric motor supplementing the internal combustion engine.
Okay, that's great. Go ahead.
Porsche is looking for ways to trim fat in the same vein as the Weissach package offered on the old 911 GT2 RS. The weight penalty will literally not exceed 100 kilograms or 220 pounds.
My God, look at you fat bastards. I bet none of you can even find your own penis.
Okay, Jake.
Yeah.
I had to look this number up.
Okay.
What is the Weissach edition, first of all?
Weissach edition was like the lightweight version of the GT2 RS.
Okay, so the weight penalty for adding the hybrid is how much? 220 pounds.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Okay.
So it's right there, 220 pounds. It will not exceed 220 pounds. This is their metric that they're really proud of.
Yeah, okay. Because, so you got batteries.
Yeah, that's fine. So 220 pounds. And they're comparing it to the Weissach package.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they're saying, just like the Weissach package, wait a second, they're adding weight.
Right.
What did they take off for the Weissach package?
I actually don't know.
49 pounds. That's all they were able to pull off. Yeah. Is 49 pounds. And they're proud of adding 220 pounds? This is like advertising a diet soda, but with more calories.
Yeah, you're right.
This is absolutely...
But it's higher caffeine.
I guess, yeah. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, it makes a lot of sense to me, but I wish the marketing is always kind of devious, right? It's dubious at best.
They don't need any of these models. Let's be clear. It's a 911, and then you could have a 911 Turbo. Oh, but wait, Chris, you could have a 911 GT2. Or you could wait. You could have a 911 GT2 RS. Wait. You could have
there's 37
GT2
models. Stop.
RS, Weissach, plus who knows whatever
There's
else.
Like 37,000 different
It's all marketing.
Things.
Of course it is.
It's dubious marketing. They're comparing it to the Weissach package.
Yeah.
But it's 400% heavier than what they actually removed.
Well, it's a much bigger car than the 991 or the 997 before that or the 996 before that. They just keep getting bigger.
Yeah, I guess. Everybody can enjoy their diet GT2 RS with more calories, I guess.
Chris, do you have a Golf R?
I do. And it is the last of a breed, I believe.
That's right. So following a mid-cycle facelift planned for the current model in 2024, the Volkswagen Golf will live to see a 9th generation.
I love my Volkswagen Golf R. My wife's Volkswagen Golf R.
Yes.
My wife has all the cool stuff now, too. Did you know that I used to have a Rolex? I had a really nice...
I thought you have two.
I have one. Had one. You know who I sold it to?
Who?
My wife.
Wait, really?
I literally, to get the money for the 911, I sold my Rolex and resized it, and now my wife has it. It's her watch.
So she paid you money
for the Rolex so I could get the 911 figured out. Yeah, these are the things that have happened to me.
That's kind of funny.
Yeah,
I thought you had the Glaus one where it's not magnetic.
Oh, I would love a Milgauss, but no, I do not have one of those.
I saw it on your wrist.
No, you didn't. Trust me, you didn't. I can't afford one.
I can picture it.
I'm glad that you would think that much of me, but no.
It was a quartz Milgauss.
There's no such thing.
100%. Okay, this is like the most vivid dream I've ever had then.
Okay, well, I agreed. It is a very vivid dream. I know
exactly what it looks like. It was here in the studio.
But it was an oyster quartz. Yeah, but they didn't make a Milgauss oyster or quartz watch. They only made one quartz watch ever, and it was the oyster quartz. And I loved it because it had the case shape was great. It has a very unique band.
I'm so confused right now.
So I'm kind of sad. Maybe I can buy it back from her later.
Okay, what does that have to do with your Golf R?
Oh, I was just thinking, my wife, the cool shit. My wife, the Golf R is hers. And
speaking of vivid dreams, you apparently had a dream that I had an R32.
I did. I can't remember much of it, so I can't really tell a story.
But that was the best R.
They just sold. Did you see the one that had 97 miles on it?
Yeah, I think we have it later in the story, but we can talk about it.
Okay. But it sold for like around $100,000.
It was over 100,000.
Yeah, and it didn't look like. I'm sure it looks.
Well, I'm sure it's pristine, factory fresh.
It doesn't really look
right, because there was a picture of the underside, and like the exhaust was all heat checked.
Yeah, it's got some corrosion
rusty
on it. But the thing is that the guy never titled it.
Oh,
he never titled the car.
Technically
a new car. Anyway, go ahead.
That's weird. Okay, so Golf R, we're gonna have a 9th generation later. It'll do away with the combustion engine completely and become a purely electric model positioned below the ID3. The folks from Wolfsburg have already announced the GTI and R hot hatches will soldier on in the EV era.
Oh, surprise.
Well, there you go. And a new report from Autocar states the latter version is already planned. As previously reported.
As we know from talking to Dimitri, all this stuff is planned out years and years ahead.
Oh, yes. The ID2, riding on the upcoming front-wheel drive-based MEB Plus platform, could ultimately get the Golf moniker and spawn a GTI. The British magazine has it on good authority that new architecture is being engineered to accommodate dual-motor setup, thus opening the possibility for an all-power R. All-paw?
Yeah, terrible.
This is stupid writing.
Right.
Yeah, all-wheel drive.
I obviously did not write this.
If they have two motors, then they're of course going to call it the R, right?
Right.
So an all-wheel drive system is being considered for a crossover version.
You're going to see Passats that say 4Motion and they're dual motor. You know, their dual motor will be 4Motion.
Yes.
Even though it doesn't have anything to do with Halidex or anything like that.
No, you're right.
What?
Spawn. Just the fact that it's going to spawn potentially another model.
Yes, like they're birthing their own future counterparts. Yeah. Like the ID3 is literally birthing a Golf R.
Yeah. Do you care anything about like Volkswagen unveiled an IDX concept? It was a hot hatch with all-wheel drive and 329 horsepower. And it did 0 to 16 5.3, which is good. A production version carrying the GTX.
Is it though?
Soffit? No, it's not.
It's not.
But
good.
It's heavy. Yeah.
Compared to like everything else now, that's not that great.
I don't care. Anyway, so while yes, they're gonna call the new Golf an R
by name only.
But
what are they I would
argue,
what are they supposed to do?
Right. They have no choice. But
they have no choice. Although it's pretty clear that they've spent billions of dollars, millions of dollars lobbying for all of this so that they could have their plans not end up as a giant pile of heaping, crying shit.
Right, because it'd be pretty bad if they invested all this and then we go, oh, you know what? Just kidding. We're going to keep gas around.
Yeah, exactly.
So we talked a little bit about Formula One, and we know we're watching Drive to Survive and all of this stuff that I am frankly bored with.
Yeah, we already talked about that.
Well, no, we didn't.
We will talk about that in the next episode. Yes. Yeah, Friday.
Well, Formula One CEO Stefano Domenicali. He has it pasta fresca. Domenicali. He has expressed his desire to keep the internal combustion engine alive in motorsport's top echelon, despite the push by some automakers and governments to fully embrace electric vehicles.
I apologize as you read through this because I had to go through and find what this guy actually said because no American publication reprinted what the dude actually said. They just took the headline.
Really?
Formula One will never go electric. So I had to go through, find the fucking original newspaper and translate what this dude actually had to say.
Quote. Formula One has the biggest and most important companies in the world as sponsors, from Amazon to Rolex, from Pirelli to Lenovo. All multinationals are very attentive to reputation and sustainability. Do you think they would associate their name with ours if we were really that bad? Formula One is credible in its energy transition towards a zero-emission world. We're constantly under public scrutiny, under lens, and this is a guarantee for all of the stakeholders.
So basically, they're just saying, hey, don't worry about our image. We will be green. We're going to follow the green thing. We're going to do
I'm sure they'll buy carbon credits or something.
Well, it's different. Keep going. I wanted to mention why.
Okay, so politics is not behaving correctly because it sets impossible goals. And
This is really interesting. Hearing him talk about... Is this
part of the quote still?
This is him talking, yes.
Oh, this is still part of the quote. Okay.
Yeah.
Quote, politics is not behaving correctly because it sets impossible goals. And above all, in an ideological way, the electric has become an indisputable dogma. Instead, it is wrong to think that, quote, there is only one way of energy transition. Scraping all the traditional cars to embrace only electric motors is wrong for many reasons. But how can a regular guy be forced to spend 30 or 40,000 euros, perhaps all his savings, because his old car is suddenly outlawed and an electric car has to pass?
Hello? Yes.
We've been saying this for years. An electric car that still remains a mirage in 2035. There will still be 2 billion vehicles with internal combustion engines in the world. And among the traditional engines, there will still be those of Formula One. We will never go electric.
All right, so that's basically what it comes down to. And what they're going to do is they're going to do synthetic fuel.
Okay,
which we've
heard about before.
Yeah. So what is synthetic fuel? Synthetic fuels share the same chemical properties as regular fuel. So then why is it green? Why is synthetic fuel green? Because it still produces carbon dioxide. They actually capture the carbon to make the fuel out of the air.
Really?
Yes. We need to have a chemist here. I think it is
a carbon recapture.
Yes.
But
yes.
Is that separate than making the fuel, or is that part of the process?
It does take energy to create the fuel,
right?
So that part is not necessarily if the energy made to capture the carbon, or the energy needed to capture the carbon from the air to make the fuel, if that energy is green, then it is a completely renewable resource.
Is the act of capturing the carbon out of the air necessary to creating this green fuel?
No.
Or is it okay?
No,
so
you
they're
could
just
make
able to call it green fuel because they do this process.
Because otherwise, what's the point?
Got it.
You might as well just use.
If you buy this, just know that they're also capturing it out of the air.
Yeah.
So therefore, you can feel fine about doing it.
Here's what it costs. Synthetic fuel cost. Okay. A journal of them. What do you think it costs?
So I just want to clarify again.
What is the most you would pay for a gallon of gas?
I think I read a quote somewhere that like $8 a gallon will force consumer behavior to change.
I'm asking you, what would you?
And that number sticks in my head. $8 is a lot.
The Journal of the American Chemical Society estimated that the final cost of a synthetic fuel would be $3.80 to $9.20 per gallon. That was in 2010 dollars.
Okay.
Adjusted for inflation, that's $5.16 to $12.50 per gallon. Porsche, who we know we've talked about this before. I really want to get a chemist on. I really want to talk to somebody that deals with these fuels. They're themselves looking into an e-fuels business. Recently stated prices eventually could settle around $7.60 per gallon or less. But just 2 years ago, Porsche claimed the costs were closer to $37 per gallon.
You know what's interesting though? All of those numbers you quoted were right in that wheelhouse of $8.
Yes. Well, nobody's going to buy it if it's not for that.
I must have looked at that study.
So this is when I look at the $37 per gallon to create it. I think if we get to like 2035, what does he say? There's 2 billion vehicles still on the road with combustion engines.
Yep.
If those 2 billion vehicles are going to be forced to buy synthetic fuels, the price will come down a lot because there's going to be a lot of...
Right. You'll have economies of scale.
It's not going to be a boutique fuel anymore.
No, it'll be economies of scale.
The question is, can we do it at scale? Is it possible to make this fuel at a scale where it can replace or at least supplement? Like, just think about when you go to the gas station, they have like E85, right?
Right. Yep.
So there's no way that all of the vehicles on the road could run on E85. There's not enough corn. Okay, there's not enough of the corn and the resources to make the fuel. So are we going to be able to have enough of this synthetic fuel that it can supplement in a way the regular combustion engine fuels, hydrocarbons?
That's what I was going to ask about, is what actually makes a synthetic fuel? Obviously, it's not made from, crude oil that we pump out of the ground.
Right.
So what is it made out of? Is it just E85 that's also combined with something else?
What's that? The synthetic fuel?
Yeah.
The carbon is literally captured from the air.
Okay, but you're not just going to take carbon and put it in
I don't know
fuel.
the process. That's why we need to talk to
We
somebody.
do need a chemist. But
I
so
could sit there and I could
synthetic.
copy-paste the process, but I would like to talk to somebody. We'll figure it out.
Okay.
We'll get someone down. If anybody knows a guy that wants to talk about this, I'm very interested in it. All right, let's get to a few voicemails. I haven't listened to these yet, so hopefully it's not like a collection agency or something.
Kris and Jake, I want to add to last week's talk of the use of P-car. Years ago, when I first showed my face at a SCCA event, all the Corvette guys, Mustang guys, whatever the case may be, would say, "Oh, you're P-car, 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 P-car." So I always felt it was like a negative thing, came from a mocking place. And not that I use it regularly, but when I do, I think of it in the vein of trying to take back that word and turning it into something else, as opposed to the American muscle dudes or whatever mocking us Porsche owners. So, like I said, not that I use it regularly, but when I put those 4-letter word, 5 letters out there, or 4 letters, excuse me, that's the way I view it. And the other thing I'd like to add, now we're on terms of Porsche talk, why do the English have such a hard time saying Porsche? Mm-hmm. You watch any English YouTuber, whatever the case might be, it's Porsche, 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 Porsche. All right, take care.
That was Adam from Checked It Out, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
It's always great to hear from him.
The voice.
And he puts on a great event. Everybody should check it out. Check it out? They should check out Checked It Out.
Check it out.
Okay, so I do like the self-deprecation.
Right. I mentioned that a little bit before.
Yeah, I don't think that's what it is anymore.
No.
Like, I mean, can we be? Let's just be honest. I don't really think that's what things are. And in terms of Porsche, I think it just comes down to knowing.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Like, I think it just comes down to knowing and what you're being around with, or what you're being. Like, if you grow up and someone is pronouncing basketball, you're going to call it basketball.
That's not a thing.
It's not a thing, but it's what people are going to do is they're going to whatever. If your buddy hears Porsche for the first time as Porsche, why would he go, "Oh no, it's Porsche"?
Well, it's not going to happen. You don't know for sure that it is actually Porsche. If everyone's saying Porsche and you say Porsche, you risk sounding very pretentious. Porsche sounds more pretentious than Porsche.
I never.
Right?
It
does.
Really
does.
It does, because it's.
I've feared that too.
Yeah, Porsche is almost like if you evolve.
No, sir. It's a Porsche.
It's too bad you're not going to brunch, because that's about. All right, next voicemail. What have we got?
Hey guys, it's Taylor from Georgia. Hey, I got a question. What is stopping a cartooner from utilizing something like AI, whether it's Chat GPT or whatever it is? What is stopping somebody from utilizing AI to create tuning opportunities for themselves to dump into a car? Let me know your thoughts.
Tuning companies. I thought he said cartooning.
Yes,
like
I was thinking about illustration too.
Okay.
So I think that. Go ahead.
So tuning is all a software program, and ChatGPT and other AIs do very, very well with software development programs.
Yep.
To the point where there's a lot of developers and coders that are like, yeah, well, why would I even do this? I could just tell it to output.
Doesn't this exist already with Holly and Megasquirt, where you tell it what you want for fuel mixtures, and it just does it? You just drive it around and it automatically.
What you mean. I don't actually know. I've never done it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's not like auto tune like the singing one, but it's like auto tune in your
auto tune.
I think Holly Performance makes
so it has the input from your O2 sensor, your wideband, and it'll say, oh well, we need more fuel here versus that.
It's no mystery what fuel mixtures make power and what fuel mixtures make fuel economy.
Yeah,
these are the ones, and you can say, and the software goes, okay, these are the things we can manipulate. We can manipulate ignition timing.
Yep.
Valve timing.
Sometimes.
In some cars. In a basic car, you have ignition timing and you have amount of air. Those are the two things that you can, and amount of fuel.
Yeah.
Those are the three things that you can change. right?
Right. Well, you just say the amount of air. You change the amount of fuel in relation. You can
add the amount. Change it. That's the
How
throttle.
do you add air?
By opening the throttle, you dumbass.
Okay.
Jesus Christ. What is wrong with you?
Usually the input is your right foot to the throttle, and then the fuel has to make up for that.
For the more air that you're putting in.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, the computer doesn't... You're so frustrating sometimes. Okay.
All right. I understand what you're saying.
And you're talking about drive-by-wire. Okay.
Yes.
We agree.
Yes. Okay, fine. We'll let
Moving right along.
I think it already exists. I think we're already there. I don't know what AI could add to this. Because we basically all the variables from the engine, like the intake air temperature, manifold air pressure, coolant temperature sensor, all the sensors already exist and are giving information to the ECU, and the ECU goes, okay, based on these parameters that I'm receiving, these are the changes I can make. I'm going to do X, Y, or Z.
It doesn't need like a creative solution.
I don't think it does. I think it's pretty basic. It's already learning. What's interesting is that I've always find it interesting that tuners think that they can do what companies that spent millions of dollars
they can do it better.
They can do it better. They can do it better.
Sure, but it's probably going to break.
It might.
Usually, actually, you know what might be interesting though on this point to take it further is a lot of newer manufacturers, it's like very difficult to break into the ECU.
Yeah.
Maybe that's where an AI could come in and try to just brute force like code break it. It's basically hacking, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Which I think is an application of AI.
If I wish there was a switch on an ECU that would just be like, be open to whatever, right? Just be open to the other possibilities. What the sensors are giving you.
Be open-minded, man.
Because think about it, I should be able to just put a bigger turbocharger on my car.
Okay.
And the ECU should go, whoa,
all right, let's go, man.
Look at all this extra air.
Yeah.
Look at all this extra fuel. Look at all this extra air.
Yeah.
The manifold pressure has greatly increased.
Right.
To control for this, we need to add this much fuel. I never understood
Problem is
why.
You have duty cycle of your fuel injectors.
Yeah, but it knows what that is too.
That.
We know what the ECU knows what that is.
But usually what I'm saying is there's parameters based on what the hardware can do. They're not going to write the code parameters or the parameters for the tune outside of what the physical hardware can do.
Yeah, but
the only reason you need to use aftermarket software is when you're going beyond the hardware capabilities.
No, but I'm already telling the computer I have more boost. So
okay, well, do you also have more fuel now?
If the computer says, yeah, add more fuel. Just think,
for
do
example,
you
have the fuel pressure regulator and the fuel pump to sustain that, and also the injectors that are correct size.
Yeah, but the ECU just goes, sorry, this is out of spec, and
right,
it just
and
goes
that's what it's doing.
Nah, but it's even if it could, even if it could add the more fuel, it goes, no, this is way too much. It's because, check engine light.
Yes. Do you know why that is? Because usually that's indicative. 99.99% of the time, that's indicative of a mechanical problem,
of a failure,
not of a modification.
Yeah, but instead of paying a guy $800 to tune my car, there should just be just let the ECU do its thing. And
I know what you're saying, but there's no,
that's not how any of this works.
No.
You have anything else to say?
Not really. Fix your damn wiring.
Maybe one of these days I'll get to it. I ordered the stuff. We'll get there. We'll get there. I'll try and do it before I leave.
Do you know that your wife is chatting me on the side and she's like, please come up here. What can I make you for dinner to bribe you? Please come fix it.
And what did you say? Fuck off. That's what you said.
I did not say.
Why have you not come over? You're clearly not worried.
Not if you're not.
If you're not worried.
Your house.
Hey, if you're not worried, would you consider me a good friend?
Yes, you are.
Okay. Why haven't you come up to help me fix it? If you're this concerned, if you think it is,
I'm not this concerned. I'm this frustrated that you defend it. That's what it is.
Oh,
it's wrong, and you know it's wrong. But for whatever reason, you're defending. Well, it doesn't matter.
Care that it's
not a big deal.
I don't care that it's wrong.
Okay, I feel like before you were like, it's fine.
It is fine. It's fine.
But now that you know it's incorrect, you are going to fix it.
Yes. Good. Yeah. Even though I don't think I need to.
I'm happy with that.
Just want to be clear with that. Although I do want to say, if you thought it was as serious of an issue, you would have been over at my house fixing it for me already.
Yeah.
Which makes me think you're being disingenuous.
Only slightly. And you are too.
Hey, we got to do something over here. All right, guys. We have next week, we're going to talk a little bit of Formula One. I'm excited, or on Friday.
Yep.
So I'm excited for that episode. But for now, that's it. We will see you guys next time.
Take care.